What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to another episode of the What's Up, Yuma radio show. I'm Johnny.
And I'm Ronnie.
And before we get into the guest, clear your throat a little bit, Ronnie. You need some water.
I was not prepared.
Do we have somebody get us some water real quick? Before we get into the guest, we have a great guest today, but I want to wish everybody had a great 4th of July, right. And that everybody has all their fingers still, right?
No emergency room visits.
Yeah, I didn't read about anything crazy over the weekend, but I think there was a fire, maybe.
There was, I think, maybe a few. I don't know, but I think everyone's okay.
Yeah, and you hope you have your fingers intact. my son and my nephews and stuff, they all went out after the party and
crazy.
Did a bunch of fireworks and stuff. But everybody
that's a big no-no for at my house. Yeah,
everybody's safe though. Everybody's safe.
Everyone's alive. All right.
Yeah, that's good. So everybody, hope you're safe and you're doing good. But now let's get into the guest. I'm really excited about this guest.
Me too.
Okay. Here's how I met him. I needed a haircut.
Very simple.
I needed my beard trim because we were doing headshots for this radio show, the pictures that you see on the website, and I didn't have my typical barber, and I needed somebody, and the gentleman I'm about to introduce came in on his day off.
Wow.
And he wasn't for me. He didn't just come in for me. There's a story behind why he was there that day, and without further ado, I want to welcome to the show Jose Landeros.
Yay!
Hi, Jose. So you own Royalty Barber Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not from Yuma. Where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. What brought you? What brought you to Yuma?
So, a few years back. Oh, not a few.
Can you get a little bit closer? Yeah, there we go.
A lot of years back.
Yeah.
My parents had a good opportunity, sold their house in California, and were able to buy a house cash here.
Sweet.
Be able to give us a better life. So we ended up in Yuma.
Very cool.
So your parents brought you here for a better life, a better experience. And was that part of that experience? Was it a job, or what was it that brought him here?
It was more or less getting away from the area that we lived in. The crime was starting to get pretty bad. So they moved out of Yuma. It was a smaller city, a lot less going on, and they thought it was a better idea for their 4 kids.
How old were you?
I was like 13.
And how did you feel about coming to Yuma as a teen?
It was one of those, like, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So
I can't stay here alone. So
Pack your bag, son.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so your father came here, better opportunity. What was that opportunity had?
I mean, nothing but blessings because, like I said, it was a small town, a lot less going on. We were able to stay in school, do after school sports and stuff like that without really having to worry about getting into any trouble.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing.
That's awesome.
We were talking off air that your father came over here and started a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you weren't always a barber. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, so before I got into the barbering, my dad had opened up his awning business, and I was helping out, being the oldest of the family, and it was good for a little bit until we started clashing.
Yeah.
I was like, Dad.
Father-son fight.
Which would happen, right?
Totally normal.
So you worked for him a little while. You help him get his business up and going, and then what happened?
Yeah.
You don't have to get into too detail, but
Your dad's listening. He's like, don't say anything.
It was one of those decisions where I told him, I was like, look, Dad, we're clashing a little too much, and then I'm just going to step aside, let you do your thing, so that our relationship as father and son can stay stable.
Awesome.
Because I don't see it staying very stable if we continue this work.
And that relationship's
together.
a lot more important than the business.
Way more important.
Good call. So I learned something new about you. You want to get into the cosmetology?
Yeah. So instead of barber school, you went to cosmetology school. And is there a reason behind that? What's the objective from going there?
So the reason I did cosmetology at the time, I had just met my wife. I had nothing. So it was more or less being able to save some money, but at the same time, it is the biggest license in the beauty industry. And I'm always a big believer in if you have the opportunity to learn something, even though you don't need to use it later on in life, it's good to know it, to have that knowledge.
So it was cheaper, but it's more encompassing.
Yes.
Like you could do more with your license versus just I didn't even know there was a difference until we met.
Yeah.
I thought it was all one.
So barbering, that came about because you and your father had a fist fight. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what happened.
Who won?
Yeah, that's what we need to know. We're going to find out who won.
I wish we could take calls. I wish his dad could call in.
Where we like, actually, we have your father on the line
He's here
right
in
now.
the studio.
And here he is.
Two blocks down the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 and round 2. Here we go. No, so then you went into barber or cosmetology. You opened up a barber shop, and the reason why we have you on the show is because you do something special at your barber shop, and we teased it a little bit in the teaser. And I don't know any kid that could really sit still anymore, but there's a certain kids with certain diagnoses that really have a hard time sitting still, right?
Yes.
And I went to your shop because you opened it up on a Monday. Before I got there, you were cutting somebody's hair, right?
Yeah.
Talk us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so normally if my schedule's filled up and I don't have plans with the family and because I cater to children, I specialize mainly with kids.
Nice.
If I can't fit them into my regular schedule and I don't have plans, I'll come in on my day off and take care of them. That way it's less hectic for the child, a little more easy experience for them.
Yeah, and so that's what you did on that Monday. You told me typically barbers have Monday off.
Okay.
In the industry.
That's the day off?
Yeah, that's the day off.
That's the day off.
But me, I wait to the last minute for everything, and it's
Me
like,
too.
I got to go get my haircut. I mean, I got to take these pictures. So, and then you or your wife recently followed the What's Up Yuma page, and I remembered it's like, I know a barber that recently followed the page. So I'm going to see if they're open. And then you weren't open, but I think you went and you picked up the kids. Am I correct? The kids, the hair you cut, you went all the way on the other side of town to pick them up.
Yeah, so the mom reached out and she mentioned that she was trying to get her child a haircut. It was a very traumatic day for her. Something tragic happened to her on that day.
Okay.
Year prior, but she mentioned that she was she had a health issue where she couldn't drive.
Okay.
And she lived literally across town.
Wow.
And so I talked to my wife about it and I told her, you know what, I'm gonna go pick her up, get the kids' haircut, and then drop them off.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very sweet of you.
So you picked them up, and then after that, you had me come in, and
Good old Johnny barges in.
I show up out of nowhere. No, you took me, and one of the things I noticed right away when I went into your studio, you had you looked like a playroom for kids, right? So I was thinking, oh, that's cool. He gets to bring his kids here while he cuts hair. That's nice. But that wasn't the reason. Tell everybody, our listening audience right now, why you have that room, what's in that room, and what you specialize in.
So the room that I have in the studio, I created it. I have a bunch of different sensory toys. The whole idea and concept behind it is kids don't like to sit still for haircuts.
Correct.
So if you can keep them entertained, interacted with something, whether it be a toy, TV, or something, they'll sit still for a couple minutes. And those 2-3 minutes at a time will make it a lot more pleasant for them and it'll allow me to work.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's you distract them from what's going on.
Yes.
To allow you to give them a good haircut.
And one of those, some of the children that are especially affected by that is kids with autism.
Yes.
And I did some research earlier, and I found out that now it's up to 1 in 31 kids are diagnosed with autism by the age of 8.
Yeah.
Boys are 3 to 4 times more likely to get diagnosed with autism. So in autism, they don't like to sit still, right?
No.
And confusion and a lot of emotion will be devastating for them. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then a lot of it's not even just sitting still. They have sensory issues, which it might be the buzzing of the machine. So if that
even just you
affects them,
touching their head can set them off.
Yeah, meeting someone strange,
Exactly.
coming in for the first time, the sensation of the hairs falling on them, that's a big trigger.
Wow.
And so like with the machine, the buzzing, if they don't like it, I can do scissor haircuts only.
Okay,
I
good.
cater to it.
Yeah.
Find a way.
So
Okay.
you created this room because your nephew has autism, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so my nephew, He has autism, Ezra, and I cut his hair the first couple times at my house, and it's a chair where they sit down and eat, and it was very bad.
It was a bad experience.
Bad experience
Yeah,
for him.
traumatic
he
for
didn't
all.
like it.
Yeah.
Crying, and once he fell asleep, I told my wife, you know what, hold him, because this is
I got 5 minutes.
unfortunately this is how we have to do it, and there has to be a better way.
Yeah. And look, you did. You created it, which is so cool. And I love that this story is like personal to you.
Yeah.
Like it's family personal. Very cool.
So in the sensory room, was your nephew, was he one of the first kids that you cut the hair in that sensory room, or was he later?
Later.
Later?
Later. Fortunately, I couldn't get him to be the first one. I would have loved it because he's the reason behind it.
That's right.
It's been about 5 years in the works with me and my wife with this idea.
Oh.
But it would have been amazing to have him be the first one.
But was it right away that you announced, like, I'm doing this? How'd that come? How'd that first kid come into your studio and find a home there at your barber?
So in April, my wife and I decided that for the shop itself, we should do free haircuts for children on the spectrum or with sensory issues. And we offered 3 free ones each Tuesday, which at the time was my only day off. And with the amount of people messaging and coming in, we had to expand it. We ended up doing like 5 or 6 per day. And then we were lucky enough to be invited to an event for autism. And then after there, like, everybody started reaching out to try to come in.
Very cool.
And it's been very helpful, thankfully.
Yeah.
So that's the beginning of it. And on the other side of the break, we're going to take a short break. Here's some messages. I want to find out, what's a typical haircut like for a kid with autism? How does that go? What are some of the things, some of the ways that you've crafted this for these kids with autism? And after that, we're going to find out more with Jose after the break.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. Specializing in residential and commercial wiring, services also include EV charging unit installs and solar-ready service panel upgrades. Information and consultation appointments at yumaelectricservicellc.com.
Coming up this week on High Country Celtic Radio, Katie Marie and Joe put together a raggle-taggle show where we take tracks that we had to leave off the last 10 shows due to time, and we give them a second chance.
Tune in each week to High Country Celtic Radio from the high deserts of Nevada, where your hosts Joe Bly and me, Katie Marie, bring you tunes and songs from across the 7 Celtic nations and around the world.
Wednesday evening at 7 on KOFA 94.7 FM.
It's been said that community radio is a rare medium that's well done. It's a cute play on words, but it's also quite true. Community radio is unique, both for our programming and for our source of funding. We are funded by you, those who listen faithfully. So please give now at borderradioaz.org. And thanks.
I'm Juan Garcia with the KAWC Newsroom. The City of Yuma will host the 14th annual Back to School Rodeo at the Yuma Civic Center this Saturday. For more details, visit kawc.org/news. There's an extreme heat warning in effect for Yuma today with a high near 108 and breezy with gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. Clear this evening with a low around 82. Stay tuned for more What's Up Yuma with Johnny and Ronnie on KOFA 94.7 FM.
Once a month, Onvita Health and the Greater Yuma Water Safety Alliance are hosting water safety workshops for parents and caregivers. These workshops provide essential water safety knowledge and life-saving skills. Registration opens on the first of each month via email at watersafety@onvitahealth.org on a first-come, first-served basis.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to the What's Up Yuma radio show. We are back here with Jose, who specializes at his barber studio in cutting kids' hair that happen to have autism. And before the break, I teased that I want to get into what's a typical haircut like for somebody with autism. What's it like for you, and what's it like for them, and maybe even what's it like for the parent?
So first off, what I like to do is ask for the kid's name firsthand. You try to build that relationship. That's the first most important thing. Make the child comfortable. After that, you know, we go into the room. If the kid is okay with putting the cape on, we do. And if it's not, I don't do it because you don't want to start off the haircut with a bad experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a real process to even the beginning stages of this haircut.
Yeah. So I tell the parents typically bring an extra pair of T-shirt at minimum. You know, you want to change them. It's going to have hairs on it.
Yeah.
So if they don't like to sit in the barber chair, I don't force them to. I have a little chair where they can sit at watching TV, playing with the toys. I have a little stool where I can sit on and roll around and follow them around to wherever part of the shop they go.
Because that might be a thing too. They don't want to sit still. You kind of got to follow them around and have your craft still intact and still get the end result. The haircut has to happen.
Yeah, you got to find the way, and you have to adapt to what you're given. You know, it's harder for them to adapt to you because of their issues, and I go and I do what I can to make it happen. If I got to lay down on the ground and cut his hair because he's sitting under the couch.
Have you done that before?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been laying down on the ground, chasing on him.
Holy smokes.
Whatever it takes for the child to get a good haircut and be out in public with a presentable haircut, it has to happen.
That's amazing. You're so dedicated. So I want to know, like, what are the tips for the parents? Do you have anything that you've seen that's happened that maybe you can tell parents dropping their kids off or they're with them to do or don't do?
So typically, you know, the biggest one is bring extra clothes.
Okay.
If they don't like the cape, I don't force it on them. A lot of the parents are like, just put it on.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
It starts off in a bad, second of them, and it's not all the time. There's some parents that don't have the patience level of others. I recommend that if you have short temper or you don't have the patience, you either wait outside the room or just let the other parent come in because it makes it a lot easier and less stressful for the
tension.
child.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the parents, there's one in particular. There's one story in particular that you have, and I think the kid's name is Julio. Is that correct?
That's
Can you tell
correct.
everybody about Julio, how you met Julio, and where Julio is at now with getting a haircut?
Oh man, Julio's this 5-year-old little kid. I love this kid. He's one of the. He walks in and he lights up the room now. When he first came in, the mom was like, "Hey, you were recommended to me in this group on Facebook, and I just want to let you know. I apologize ahead of time. It's gonna be rough." I was like, "No, don't worry about it. I got this. You know, we'll figure this out." And she mentioned previously that she had been kind of like shunned out of a couple shops because of the way the kid behaved in the chair.
So here's a kid that doesn't have anywhere else to go for a haircut.
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah. And so the first haircut he got, you know, mom set him on his lap, and it's a new place for him, new person.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? That already in itself is a trigger. And so he obviously didn't want it. So he wants to jump out the chair. And I told the mom, that's fine. Let him be.
Yeah.
So I have a vending machine, and he was over there clicking the buttons. And I was able to do the haircut. It looked good, but I knew it wasn't the best haircut he can get.
Okay.
But it was a presentable haircut.
Yes.
It was good. Fast forward to the third haircut he gets.
So this is a relationship now. So he's
Repeat
it wasn't your best work, but you knew there's a future.
Yeah. And like I said, it's building that relationship, gaining the child's trust, and having him understand that you're there to help him. So you fast forward to the third haircut he gets. Mom's gonna sit down with him again, and he tells her no. Back up.
He told mom. He told mom.
I got this, Mom.
He's that comfortable now. The third haircut because of what you have a great temperament, right? So
Yes, you're very calm.
very calm and reassuring.
Soothing.
Either I want you to be my therapist, but no, you have a great temperament, and so you were able to do that. Get the Julio relaxed enough to where he didn't even need mom by him.
Yeah. And now he comes in. He's like, I want a Spider-Man design, and I'm doing designs in his hair.
Wow.
You know, and it's crazy to think that a child that was getting pretty much, we can't cut your hair here.
So
to
now
being
he's like,
one of my better clients.
that's what progress. And it shows you and the gift you have with these kids. Very cool.
So,
then we found out off air earlier that you do love kids. I think I don't know how many you said.
He has
you
like
wanted
12.
Yeah, he has 13 kids, and you just get the number.
He's like, I want
it's
that
just going to
many.
keep going up and up.
Oh my God. Okay, just kidding. He has 5.
Okay, you have five kids. Five kids.
Yeah.
But you said off air that if you could have 5 more, you would do it.
yes,
Yeah.
I definitely would.
So you love children.
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid at the birthday parties, I had older cousins with kids. I was like, give me the baby, you go have fun.
I'll go
Yeah.
babysit.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So you love kids. It's a natural fit
Yes.
for you.
Exactly.
Your brother has a son with
Mm-hmm.
autism, and you were able to not only help solve your brother's problem, but
Mm-hmm.
in the Yuma community, you are such a blessing for what you're offering. And like these Facebook groups where moms don't know where to turn, what do I do?
Yes.
And there's a solution now that Jose, that you're offering.
Yeah, and like I've mentioned before, like the idea behind the room isn't to isolate them permanently. The isolation initially is to help them cope with the haircut,
Yeah.
the actual service itself.
Yep.
Once you get them comfortable with that, the idea is to be able to integrate them into the regular barber shop so
Exactly.
that they can actually grow
Yeah.
with their issues. And then if
Yeah.
if
Well, you've
they
just made them
move-
feel comfortable and welcome right away. And we hear that you're a hockey coach.
Yeah, so I coach hockey, soccer, baseball,
Wow.
so a lot of U6.
You're a busy dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely do got a lot going on, and we were talking as he's part my therapist because he cuts my hair, and he mentioned that when you did the hockey, you took him to the championship.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to on the first try
Wow.
get that trophy.
That's
It was
that's
fun.
that,
And how
that's-
old were they?
They were U6.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that means 6.
6 and under. So I had
Wow.
4, 5, and 6.
So you were able to coach little kids that usually bunch up and just hit each other and
Yeah, I was
go nowhere.
And you just got your background from soccer, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't know
Wow.
anything about hockey, but you were able
Wow.
to, because of, again, your gift to working with
Yeah.
kids, to be able to translate what you learned in soccer to these kids in hockey. And the reason why I know about these things, you have all the plaques in your shop. They're
Oh,
different
cool.
ones you sponsored and coached and stuff.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of it. I love to give back any way I can.
Wow.
Well, thank you very much, Jose,
awesome,
for coming
dude.
on. I appreciate it. If
Yep.
you want to find out more, you can find Royalty Barber Studio on Facebook. And coming up on What's Up Yuma Radio, it is a production of KWC, Colorado River Public Media. We are broadcasting from I'm going to get this right, Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma.
There we go.
We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornelas, Juan Garcia, and Dave Reek.
Yep. And you can find more about KAWC at kawc.org, on Facebook at KAWC Radio, and on the KAWC app. And stay tuned following our program for KOFA Midday Music.
And tomorrow we're going to have Justin Hale from the 4th Avenue Gym Athletic Fund, and we're going to find out what he does to help local gyms at our high schools, junior highs, and more. That's coming up tomorrow, so make sure you
Yep.
tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here on KOFA 94.7 FM.
And you can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio, and email us at whatsupyumaradio@kawc.org.
Yeah, we
Woo,
got it.
we did it!
We're gonna perfect it one day. Don't worry. We're gonna
We
get
can
you.
breathe.
What's Up Yuma with
it.
Johnny Porter is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. YumaElectricServiceLLC.com.